Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be painting Ares, as you can probably tell. Here he is, and as per usual, we have a few mould lines to clear off. So we have the one here on his leg, there we go. Can I see any more? I don't like doing them on skin tone, well, on the skin areas, because we seem to leave a really bad what do we call it, a bad finish to it. But let's try there. And that will do. It's annoying where all the mould lines are, but never mind. We can't do much about them now. Well, we can, but the problem is when we start, we have a habit of spoiling the finish of the mini because of where the mould lines actually are. And it's quite annoying because they're always where there's detail. And you start scraping, oops, there's the postie. You start scraping and all that happens is the detail's lost. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, here we have Ares. I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly. I want to make sure everything's in focus and everything's in camera shots, should I say. And there we go. Yes. Skin tone first off. That's what I usually start with. I don't see why I should change now. And for this fella, which one could I use, I wonder? No. What's that one? No. No. I'm looking for a skin tone. Let's go. Best to go flesh. Try that one first of all. Hopefully it might give a nice finish. I don't want too deep a skin tone on this fella. My own personal taste rather than anything else. We'll get some of this on our palette. Give the brush a wash off. There we go. And now into our brush. Rid of all the excess water. And here we go. Now, I want to do this because I want a more reddish shade to the flesh tone with Hades, because I did such a dark base tone. If I'd have done the exact same with this, I'd have had to have used a darker wash because the Reikland Flesh shade doesn't work well with a dark skin tone. So I am using this. Hopefully it will give a nice reddish tone once the wash is applied. It should do. I've used this one before a couple of times. All I need to do is make sure I get a nice even coverage. Now I'm just going to make sure I go over all of these chains. They are going to be gone over again with a darker colour later on, but I want to make sure if I go over them now with this colour that the flesh that is shown underneath will show through. I'm just rinsing off the paint that's already on the brush so I can just to add a touch more water to the brush to lubricate it slightly more. And I'm going to shut up and let you listen to some music. Okay, we're going to the end of this now. I'm just going over once again on the areas of skin tone, just to make sure that they have an even coverage. I don't want it to look patchy at all. And just to finish off, I may yet have to no, it's not too bad actually, but I may have had to have gone into this using a smaller brush, but it's not too bad. But that's about it for the flesh tone. There we are. Next job. Ah, dear Lord. The metallics. The metallics, as you know, are usually done using a dark metallic paint called Warpluck Bronze. This time, it's no exception. So we get some of this paint on our palette. Get quite a bit because I think there's quite a bit of this to do, and I've got another tub now, so I have plenty. So I'll just give our brush a wash and head back and get this paint on the Mini. We'll start off with the sword first of all, just because I want to give the skin and the flesh tone a decent amount of time to dry. So try and keep away from most of the flesh tone. Chances are with this colour I may need to go over the skin tone again around the edge, which is why I'm doing the sword rather than anywhere else, because I have a nasty habit of catching areas that I've previously painted. So we'll start here, and I need to redo an area. Not too bad. Oops. So we will just continue with this. Hopefully by the time I get round to doing them, the arms, or the chains around this arm rather, will be dry, or the flesh tone on the arm will be dry enough for me to do the chains in this colour. Because I like having a nice dark background on the metals, and this Warpluck Bronze does give, in my opinion, a really nice base coat for them. That's that. Let's get the shield done now. I'm going to give my voice a break and your ears a rest, and we'll listen to some music while I carry on with this. I'm going to come back. We should be nearly finished with the metallics. I will pick out just the chains. We're not painting the arm, not metallic anyway. Because oops, in time, we're going to be going over this with a bit of a highlight, and it'll just be dry brushed on to pick out the details rather than painted heavily on like this. When I say heavily on, I mean a coat, proper coat of it. I don't mean them applying the paint thickly or heavily. Because that's the one thing you don't want to do. You want it to be nice and dilute. I found getting into the practice of diluting your paints, but it goes on a lot nicer, and the finish is a lot better as well. Because remembering how I used to paint when I first started these videos, basically painted straight out of the tub. Straight out of the paint pot. And the videos were done originally just for my own amusement and not for my own amusement, but for my own reference, should I say, just to show how far I'm progressing with my painting, because I intended to try and learn how to paint much better than I was doing beforehand, and I'm getting there. I paint much better than I used to do. I understand what I'm supposed to do a bit more now. Sometimes it doesn't work. We all have those days. Even the best miniature painter has those days where it just doesn't seem to want to work for you. And you just have to bear that in mind. You're not going to get it perfect every time you paint something. That's never going to happen. There'll always be something that you're not happy with. Always be a finish that isn't quite right, and you either have to say, well, I've done my best, or you say, well, that's completely ruined, it needs stripping, or it needs something doing to it, and either starting again from scratch or seeing what you can do to adjust. It's basic. That is just something we have to live by. It's not an exact science. Some days the paint will go on like a dream, other days nah, can't be bothered. I'm going to go on how I want it. And also the water, the way the water flows, that can have an effect on the painting as well. There's all sorts of different things. Temperature, your own frame of mind. If you're not in the mood for it fully, you're not going to get the same effect as you would if you're in the mind frame of enjoying yourself. If you feel as though you need to get it done and you're putting pressure on yourself, the chances are you'll not be able to relax and get to do it as well as you would normally do. But again, That's not just painting minis, that can be anything really. I'm going to go over these little belt buckles. I'll probably end up covering them anyway, but I'm just giving them the base colour that they need. So I think that is it for the metallics. There's some, well, there's this ring on his sandal. I'll do that now. The chance is, however, I'll end up having to come back and redo it because I'm painted over it. But I'm doing it like this just so I can see where things are, and for my own peace of mind and for my own levels of observation, because I mean, if you see me paint other minis, you know full well I'm going to miss something. It's the way it goes. But that is it for the metallic areas. What can we do next, I wonder? How about the cape? The cape. That's what we're going to do next. And for that, we're going to get a little bit of Cantor blue. Okay, so that's the Cantor blue done. Into that, we are going to mix when I can see it. That's Warplot bronze. There we are. Found it. Abaddon black. Because we want a very dark colour as the base coat. That actually should do quite nicely. And we'll just slap this on. We will come back obviously later to add the details. Well, not the details, the highlights. There's no details on the cloak. But we'll be darkening this up with washes before we come back to add the highlights. Aries cape done. So make sure that this great big crease is covered enough. There we go. So that is that bit done. Next, we're going to be looking at the cloth area here. And for that, we're going to use, where are you? Oops. Nope, not you. Come on, where have you gone? I'm going to be using Administratum Grey. I've got any more of this because I'm running short of this one as well. Administratum Grey. I'm going to put 2 lots down because into 1 lot, in fact I might as well do it like that. Hopefully I've got hopefully I've got enough there. And we'll just paint with this on the cloth areas. And there's not much of a difference in tone between this colour and the primer I used. But there's a different enough colour. It has a different enough shade or tone because it does add a slight bluish cast, and that's what I'm looking for. I don't want a heavy blue shadow detail, I just want a nice bluish tint to this because we will be lightening it quite a bit. Yep. And just make sure that all the area that we want in this colour is done. Just try and keep an eye on what you're doing with it. No doubt it'll get to the stage where I think I've finished, and then always, like here for instance, where I've not done the flesh under there. And just be a little careful when you're doing round the flesh areas. And I've just gone to the skin tone with this colour, but it's no big deal if you do actually catch it, but I said just be careful, try not to, you get a better finish if you don't. But I have not very steady hands and do tend to shake quite a bit sometimes, and because of that And I'm used to getting paint where it's not supposed to be. But as I say, try your best not to get it everywhere.